Hello, my name's Deka, and today I will be talking about Fortnite. Specifically, a friend of mine who got hooked on the game and is now impossible to talk to. Now, this story, I've known this guy for ages. We met when we were 10. Well, actually, we met when we were 8, but we became friends when we were 10. We were in the same class. We didn't talk much for the first 2 years I was in that school, but afterwards we became friends. Yada yada yada. I ended up moving to a different continent. He stayed, and we stayed in contact for a good amount of time. And a couple years later, about I'd say 2 years ago, I was in town, so I decided, hey, I'm gonna go visit. So I let him know. He said, "Hey, perfect. We can hang out, play some video games." I'm like, "Okay, cool, cool." But when I arrived, for some reason I couldn't find him anywhere. The door was unlocked, and I spent a good amount of time searching for him in the small apartment. I found him in his room, playing Fortnite. Wait, oh my goodness, my birds are yelling for no reason. Sorry about that, but anyway. And he walked in and said, "Oh, hi, I'm in the middle of a game, so be quiet." I'm like, "Okay, that's kind of strange, but I don't know what the stakes are here. I've never played this game before." So afterwards, he dies, he rages, he knocks something over, something breaks. Forget now what it was, but I remember it was nothing really expensive. I think it was I think he threw his phone on the ground and the glass shattered a bit. It was something that struck me, but didn't have any real consequences for him. Now, eventually, we got to talking, catching up, and the entire time he's playing this game, and I'm like, "Hey, can I play? I've never played this game before. Could you teach me how to?" And he's like, "Oh, okay, sure." So I play it for a bit. And I'm like, "Yeah, this is pretty fun." And he says, "Now give it to me," because I was doing decently well. I'd survived like half of it. I think again, I'm not an expert. I just killed a couple people, and I did the Rick and Morty thing of just crawling whenever the situation got dire, and it worked. So he took it from me, and he started playing, and he immediately got shot, and he reported that guy and smashed his controller onto the ground. Now it didn't quite break, but had a dent in it. I let him know. He freaked out and blamed me, and it was very strange because I didn't want to argue with this guy. He'd been my friend for a good amount of time, but that's really all he was doing. So I'm like, "Can we do something else?" And he's like, "Yeah, nah, I want to keep playing the game." I'm like, "For how long have you had?" He's like, "About 6 months." And he went on a tangent about how he's gonna go pro, as people usually do when they become obsessed with the game to a point that they can't hold a normal conversation. Now, at this point, I'm going to say I'm not saying that everyone who plays Fortnite is like this. Not at all. There's a lot of games that I'm obsessed with and play a lot, but I've never actually destroyed anything over it, and I feel like the majority of people haven't. But the moment I walked in, he shattered his phone screen and dented his controller and blamed me for one of the two. Now, it came to a climax after a few more games and me just watching when he pretty much broke his controller. I mean, he threw it onto the ground and it broke partially. One of the buttons fell off, flew somewhere else. I'm not really sure how often you have to smash an overpriced controller for that to happen, but it did. I think it was an Xbox, but don't quote me on it. It was either an Xbox or a PS5. It was one of those consoles. It wasn't a PS5. This was long before the PS5 came out. It was I have no clue. It was one of those two big boy consoles, at least big boy at the time. Now we can all agree that the Nintendo Switch is the best. Fight me. Anyway, so this guy starts raging at me for it, and I'm like, well, at this point, I'm just gonna leave. So I politely excuse myself. I came up with some shitty excuse like, "Oh, I have to get going. I have to fly back in a few hours or something." He said, "Oh, okay, fine. Now you're gonna leave now that you've destroyed my video game controller and all that other stuff." And I haven't talked to him since, okay? He raged at me for no reason. It's very difficult for me to describe this because, well, first off, everything happened in German, so it's very difficult to quote him exactly. But second, and more importantly, I still can't fathom what exactly happened because he was perfectly normal over text in Discord. We messaged on WhatsApp a lot. He was perfectly normal. But the moment I met him in person, that's all he wanted to do. And I gave him a second chance, you know. I visited him again later that year. And same exact thing happened. He got a new controller, but he didn't smash it this time. But he did punch his wall a few times. No holes or anything. He just punched it. Very anticlimactic. And I knew it had gotten past the point of no return where all of his profile pictures were Fortnite. All he ever talked about on Instagram was his Fortnite victories, and to this day, that's all he does. And I thought it would go away once the fad passed. And mind you, this was like, what, a year or two ago? We were 12 or 13. You know, we're both, in our later teens now, but still, he has not changed whatsoever. He is still the exact same he was when he was 12, which is sad. He was a very nice guy back when he was not addicted to Fortnite because he played a lot of games before that. We both did, but it was never this excessive. I mean, I've played it before from I think 5 times now, and yeah, I can safely say it is a good game. Some of the kids on there are very weird, but if you play with the sound off, it's pretty good. Yeah. But this guy took it to a whole nother level. So, moral of the story: people are gonna hate you if you obsess over a decent game. You know, if you obsess over any game, it can be anything from a Fortnite to I don't know, Cyberpunk 2077 when that finally comes out, or I don't know, Barbie's Horse Adventure. If you obsess over a game, people are gonna hate you for it. At least if you obsess over anything to a point where it becomes violent. Yeah, I suck at coming up with morals. Anyway, I know this video was short and a lot of birds screaming in the background. I don't know if you can hear that or not. If you can't hear that, that would be very embarrassing because I sound like a madman. But yeah, that's all I have to say for the day. See you next time.